From the very moment the cameras begin to roll, there is an undeniable shift in the atmosphere. The kind that creeps in slowly but settles heavily enough for everyone on set to feel it in their bones. What was supposed to be a routine shoot suddenly carries an eerie weight, as if the walls themselves are listening and waiting for something to unfold. Crew members exchange quick, nervous glances while adjusting lights and checking equipment. Their movements slightly tense, hinting that even they can sense the change without fully understanding it. Whispers start to ripple through the room, nothing loud enough to disrupt production, but soft, fragmented conversations that float through the air like clues to a mystery still forming. The energy becomes strangely electric, buzzing with the unspoken possibility that something is off, something no one has yet dared to name. Yandi, ever intuitive and hyper-aware in environments like this, is the first to truly absorb that something is wrong. Her eyes scan the room with the precision of someone who has spent years navigating television chaos, picking up on every subtle shift. The assistant who seems a little too jumpy, the cast members who avoid eye contact, and the unsettling silence that fills the spaces where laughter usually lives. She can't pinpoint the cause yet, but her instincts warn her that this isn't normal tension. This is the kind that precedes a revelation or a disaster. Even the air feels different, heavier, almost charged with emotional static that makes the back of her neck prickle. As the cameras continue rolling, the room seems to hold its breath, waiting for the moment when hidden truths or bottled-up emotions finally burst through the surface. The set, usually buzzing with confidence and routine, now feels like a pressure cooker of unease. And Yandi knows from experience that shifts like this don't happen without reason. Something is brewing, whether it's a secret, a confrontation, or a truth no one was prepared to face, and it's only a matter of time before the tension that everyone is pretending to ignore becomes impossible to contain. The moment Mendeecees walks into the room, the atmosphere undergoes an immediate and undeniable shift, as if the energy inside the space contracts around him and forces everyone to recalibrate. His entrance isn't loud, dramatic, or attention-seeking, yet it has a gravity that commands the entire room's focus without him saying a single word. Conversations that were flowing freely begin to stutter and break apart. It's replaced by awkward pauses and discreet glances shared between cast members who suddenly seem unsure of what to say. Even the crew, who are usually experts at staying neutral, can't help but react. Small, subtle movements give them away, like adjusting equipment that doesn't need adjusting or pretending to check notes they've already reviewed. Mendeecees himself carries a quiet tension that clings to him like a shadow. His expression is controlled, but his eyes tell a different story, one of discomfort, unease, and a lingering sense of something left unfinished. Almost immediately, faint whispers begin to spread across the room, soft enough to appear innocent, but pointed enough to reveal that everyone is thinking the same thing. Erica Mena. Her name slips through hushed voices like a spark igniting dry air. And suddenly, the entire environment feels charged with unspoken questions, assumptions, and unresolved history. The mere mention of her creates a ripple effect, tightening the emotional space around Mendeecees and feeding a growing tension that he seems painfully aware of. Some people exchange looks that hold more meaning than words, while others avoid eye contact altogether, afraid their curiosity might be too obvious. The air grows thick with speculation. He hiding something? Why does he look so uneasy? Did something happen before he arrived? And these silent questions hover like invisible smoke, impossible to ignore. Even those who try to act normal fail to hide how alert they've become, their body language stiff and their attention sharpened. As seconds pass, the weight of the room intensifies, and it becomes clear that Mendeecees' entrance hasn't just added to the tension, it has completely redefined it, pushing the night into a territory that feels unpredictable, emotionally charged, and on the verge of unraveling into something no one is prepared for. As the night unfolds, a thick layer of suspense settles over the room, signaling that something big, something undeniably explosive's about to drop, even though no one has said it outright yet. It begins subtly with a shift in body language, cast members straightening up in their seats, leaning in closer, exchanging quick, sharp glances that speak louder than any dialogue could. Eyes dart from one face to another, searching for clues, who knows what. Who's hiding something, and who's preparing to be blindsided? The tension doesn't just rise. It coils, tightening like a wire stretched to its limit. A few cast members exchange silent conversations through raised eyebrows and tightened jaws, while others stare straight ahead, pretending not to feel the pressure even though their restless fingers tell a different story. The anticipation grows heavier with every passing second, and the smallest sounds suddenly feel amplified: the shifting of a chair, the tapping of a pen, the faint buzz from the lighting rig overhead, all reminding everyone that this moment is bigger than the usual on-set drama. What makes the suspense even more intense is the behavior of the crew, who are normally the steady, controlled backbone of the production, but now look just as anxious as the cast. Camera operators grip their equipment a little tighter, as if bracing for an unexpected reaction. Sound technicians hover, waiting for the precise moment they know is coming. And producers linger behind monitors with expressions that can only be described as nervous excitement. Their eyes wide, their attention laser-focused. It feels like everyone is collectively holding their breath, suspended somewhere between curiosity and fear of what's about to be said. The energy becomes almost electric, vibrating through the room as though the walls themselves are aware that a bombshell is seconds away from being unleashed. Even those who usually thrive on drama appear unusually tense, their smiles forced, their posture stiff, their gaze locked on the person who seems poised to deliver the revelation. Every detail: the way someone swallows hard, the way another avoids eye contact, the way a third person keeps glancing at the door, adds to the thick fog of anticipation. It's clear that whatever is about to be announced won't just stir the room. It will shift the entire trajectory of the night. And by the time the cast leans in, eyes widened and hearts pounding, the suspense is no longer simply building, it's overflowing, ready to break open in a moment that no one can prepare for. When the tension finally becomes unbearable, Mendeecees steps forward and breaks the silence in a way that instantly shatters the fragile calm holding the room together, sending shockwaves rippling through the entire set. His voice is steady at first, almost too controlled, as if he's forcing himself to stay composed while the weight of what he's about to say presses heavily on his shoulders. The room falls into a near-perfect stillness the moment he speaks, every conversation halting mid-sentence, every eye turning toward him with the kind of sharp focus that only comes when everyone senses a truth bomb on the verge of detonating. He takes a breath, slow, deliberate, and with a tone that leaves no space for doubt or misinterpretation. He finally delivers the statement that punches through the room like a sudden blast. The child is not mine. Denial is firm, direct, and shockingly unapologetic, immediately slicing through weeks of rumors, whispers, and online speculation that have clouded the situation around Erica Mina's claims. For a moment, no one reacts. It's as if the entire room collectively forgets how to breathe. Cast members stare at him with wide eyes, trying to process the magnitude of what they've just heard, while others cover their mouths or exchange looks of disbelief, unsure whether they should comfort him, challenge him, or simply stay silent. Even the crew, trained to stay in work mode no matter what unfolds, can't hide their reactions. Camera operators instinctively zoom in. Sound technicians adjust their headsets as their hearts race, and producers lean forward behind the monitors, knowing they're witnessing a moment that will define the night, the narrative, and possibly multiple careers. Mendeecees' face is a complex mix of frustration, exhaustion, and determination, as though he's been carrying this truth alone for far too long and has finally reached a breaking point. His denial doesn't just shift the energy in the room, it detonates it. The shockwaves spread instantly, whispers erupt, eyebrows shoot up, and people who were previously silent now whisper theories, judgments, and questions under their breath. The emotional temperature skyrockets. Some cast members look sympathetic, others skeptical, and a few clearly stunned by how boldly he delivered the statement. In the span of seconds, the entire atmosphere transforms into a swirl of disbelief, tension, and raw emotion. Everyone knows this moment is far from the end, it's the ignition point. And as the murmurs grow louder, one thing becomes clear. Mendeecees' declaration hasn't just rejected Erica's claims. It has launched the night into a new, volatile chapter that no one can walk away from unchanged. The moment Mendeecees delivers his explosive denial, Yandi feels the ground shift beneath her in a way that leaves her emotionally disoriented. As if the world she thought she understood has suddenly rearranged itself into something unfamiliar and unsettling. Her face doesn't immediately betray the chaos happening inside her. But her eyes, sharp, expressive, and always honest, begin to flicker with a storm of emotions she can't contain. It starts with shock, a raw and immediate disbelief that hits her like a sudden jolt, freezing her in place as she tries to reconcile the words she just heard with the man she thought she knew so well. Then comes doubt, heavy, suffocating, and impossible to ignore as she wonders what parts of this situation she hasn't been told. What details were hidden from her and why she feels like she's been blindsided by a truth she never saw coming. Betrayal creeps in next, not because she knows whether Mendeecees is lying or telling the truth, but because she feels deeply wounded by the fact that she's even in a position where she has to question him at all. Their relationship, built on years of loyalty, sacrifice, and rebuilding, suddenly feels fragile, as if one powerful gust of truth could send it crashing down. She searches his face for reassurance, for clarity, for any sign that she can trust what he's saying. But all she finds is a mixture of defensiveness and exhaustion that only intensifies her confusion. Yandi's mind races through memories of their past moments where they fought for stability. Moments where she carried the weight of their family during his absence. Moments where she chose him even when it was difficult. For the first time in a long time, she feels completely disconnected from the man standing in front of her. The set around her fades into a distant blur as producers, cast members, and crew respond to the drama unfolding. But Yandi is locked in her own internal collision, torn between loyalty and logic, love and self-protection. Her heart aches at the possibility that this revelation could unravel the trust they've worked so hard to rebuild. And she can't escape the overwhelming fear that things between them might never feel the same again. In that heavy, breathless moment, Yandi isn't just processing the bombshell, she's confronting the painful truth that their entire dynamic has shifted. And nothing about their future feels certain anymore. As the weight of Mendeecees' declaration settles over the set, the energy doesn't dissipate, multiplies, spreading through every corner of the room like wildfire. Crew members, usually trained to be impartial observers, begin exchanging quick, tense whispers that reveal their own shock and disbelief. Camera operators adjust angles subtly, their hands slightly trembling as they try to capture every micro-expression, while producers hover behind monitors, sharing brief, concerned glances as they anticipate the impact this footage will have, not just on the show, but on the public perception of everyone involved. The subtle, nervous chatter of the crew becomes a soundtrack to the chaos, punctuated by the soft clicks of cameras and the occasional cough that betrays the underlying tension. Meanwhile, outside the walls of the studio, fans online are already igniting a frenzy, dissecting social media posts, old interviews, and rumors with a fervor that only reality TV can provoke. Tweets, hashtags, and live commentary spread like digital wildfire, amplifying every emotion, every paused glance, and every reaction into a narrative that feels bigger than the room itself. The emotional stakes escalate as the crew becomes acutely aware that what they are witnessing is no longer just a filming session. It is a historic moment in real-time drama, one that will dominate conversations for days, maybe weeks. Social media speculation feeds back into the set, creating a palpable tension where digital reactions and live emotions collide, each intensifying the other. Cast members shift in their seats, glancing at their phones, their expressions a mixture of awe, disbelief, and strategic calculation as they realize the extent to which public perception is already being shaped before the cameras even stop rolling. The interplay between private shock on set and public scrutiny online creates a feedback loop that heightens anxiety, curiosity, and anticipation simultaneously, leaving everyone hyper-aware of how every movement, word, and expression could be interpreted, shared, or dissected. Rumors begin to trend with alarming speed, each one carrying a grain of truth, speculation, or exaggeration, feeding the collective imagination of fans who are desperate to understand the unfolding drama. As whispers ripple through the crew and the online audience reacts with equal intensity, the atmosphere becomes almost unbearable, a pressure cooker of anticipation and emotion. It's clear that nothing about this moment is ordinary. The combination of Mendeecees' explosive revelation, Yandy's raw emotional processing, and the dual scrutiny of crew and fans has elevated the stakes to an entirely new level, ensuring that the fallout will continue long after the cameras stop rolling. In the aftermath of the explosive revelation, the atmosphere remains thick with tension as the personal consequences begin to surface, forcing everyone on set to confront the deeper fallout that extends far beyond the initial shock. Conversations shift from speculation to introspection, touching on trust, loyalty, and the motives behind Erica Mena's allegations, while simultaneously examining the ripple effect her claims have had on Mendeecees Yandy and their entire family. Cast members and crew alike pause to process the emotional weight of what has been revealed, watching closely as Yandy and Mendeecees navigate this delicate moment with a combination of raw vulnerability and controlled composure. Mendeecees, sensing the need to address not only public perception but also the intimate reality of the situation, speaks with a tone that balances sincerity, exhaustion, and urgency. He admits the strain of carrying the burden of false accusations, the pressure of defending his character in a public arena, and the heartbreak of witnessing how quickly trust can be questioned when private matters become sensationalized. Each word is carefully measured, yet laden with emotion, giving the room a glimpse into the personal toll the allegations have taken. Yandy, meanwhile, listens with a mixture of guarded skepticism and empathy, processing the conflict between her instinct to protect her family and the shock of facing claims that could have irreparably damaged her trust. As the dialogue unfolds, the conversation inevitably touches on motives. Why would someone make such allegations? And what were they hoping to gain? The answers aren't clear, but the act of questioning, debating, and reflecting brings a cathartic intensity to the room. Family dynamics, once considered private and untouchable, now feel exposed under the scrutiny of both cameras and social media, leaving Yandy and Mendeecees to navigate not only their own emotions but also the potential judgment of viewers and fans. The emotional stakes continue to rise as Mendeecees reaffirms his commitment to honesty, transparency, and accountability, emphasizing that his intention is not only to protect his reputation, but to shield his loved ones from further unnecessary pain. The room is quiet, save for the soft hum of equipment and the occasional reflective sigh, as the cast and crew absorb the gravity of the moment. In this space, the private and public collide, creating a complex emotional landscape where trust, truth, and family loyalty are tested like never before. By the end of the conversation, it's evident that this revelation isn't just a headline, it is a deeply personal reckoning, a turning point where the integrity of relationships, the resilience of trust, and the capacity for understanding will determine how the family moves forward amid lingering uncertainty. With the immediate shock of Mendeecees' denial still reverberating through the set, attention inevitably turns toward Erica Mena, the person whose allegations ignited the storm and whose motives now dominate every whispered conversation. Her claims, public and widely circulated, carry a weight far beyond their initial context, threatening to shape reputations, fracture relationships, and fuel endless speculation across social media platforms where fans, critics, and influencers dissect every detail. Cast members and crew alike discuss in hushed tones what could have motivated her to go on record with such serious accusations, weighing the possibilities, personal grievances, media attention, or a more calculated attempt to manipulate public perception? The questions linger heavily in the air, unanswered, as the cameras continue to roll, capturing the intensity of speculation as it builds. Meanwhile, the ripple effect of her allegations is undeniable, touching not just Mendeecees and Yandi, but everyone in their circle who must now contend with the court of public opinion, where facts are often blurred with rumor and emotion drives the narrative. Social media responds almost immediately. Hashtags trend, threads explode, and fan theories proliferate across platforms, dissecting interviews, photos, and past statements to find hidden meaning, contradictions, or signs of truth. The online conversation amplifies the pressure on those present, creating a feedback loop where private emotions on set are magnified by public scrutiny, and every reaction, subtle or overt, is parsed, commented on, and shared thousands of times in real time. Mendeecees and Yandi are acutely aware of the dual weight they carry: the personal impact of betrayal and the public expectation of a response that satisfies curiosity, restores reputation, and preserves dignity. Erica Menace's claims, whether true or false, matter because they define the lens through which the world now views them. And navigating this lens requires precision, courage, and emotional resilience. The discussion on set oscillates between disbelief, strategy, and reflection, as each person tries to anticipate the next move, the next comment, the next wave of online reactions. It's a tense balancing act, understanding the human motivations behind the claims, mitigating the reputational damage, and managing the narrative while staying grounded in the truth. As the dialogue unfolds, it becomes clear that Erica's role in this saga is far from passive. She is the catalyst that has forced hidden tensions, unresolved emotions, and long-standing relationships into the spotlight. Her motivations may remain speculative, but their impact is indisputable, igniting a social media firestorm that ensures every micro-expression, statement, and reaction on set will be analyzed, debated, and remembered, making her presence felt even in absence and elevating the stakes to unprecedented levels for everyone involved. After the storm of revelations and the surge of disbelief, the energy in the room begins to shift toward a more introspective and cautious tone, signaling a turning point where the focus moves from immediate shock to healing, accountability, and mutual support. Yandi and Mendeecees, though visibly exhausted and emotionally raw, engage in a dialogue that prioritizes honesty and transparency, acknowledging the pain that has permeated their family, their relationship, and the public perception surrounding them. The conversation delves into the delicate task of rebuilding trust, a process that requires confronting past misunderstandings, clarifying miscommunications, and reinforcing the foundation of their bond that has been tested by rumors and false claims. Both openly recognize that while Mendeecees' denial of Erica Menace's allegations clears the air legally and publicly, the emotional scars remain and must be navigated with patience and care. They discuss the impact on their children, understanding that shielding them from unnecessary confusion, speculation, and stress is paramount, and that their example of resilience, transparency, and compassion can guide the younger generation through turbulence without leaving lasting damage. Family members and close friends, previously caught in the web of gossip, now witness this effort at reconciliation and reflection, offering quiet support and lending a stabilizing presence amid lingering tension. Yandi and Mendeecees consider the broader public narrative, aware that their actions and words will continue to be scrutinized online and in media circles, and they emphasize the importance of framing the story around truth rather than drama, of reclaiming agency over their lives and reputations. The conversation is a delicate balance of vulnerability and strength, admitting hurt, addressing fears, and laying out intentions for moving forward while maintaining dignity and composure. The cameras capture subtle gestures, micro-expressions, and pauses that convey as much meaning as the spoken words, documenting a rare blend of emotional transparency and strategic resilience. In this space, healing begins not as a singular moment, but as a process, with accountability and support forming the pillars that will guide the family beyond the immediate crisis. As dialogue continues, it becomes clear that reclaiming trust, fostering understanding, and protecting family unity are not only personal priorities, but also essential for navigating the public eye responsibly. This turning point marks a transition from reactive emotion to deliberate action, illustrating that even in the wake of scandal, integrity, compassion, and reflection can create a pathway forward, offering both reconciliation and hope for stability in a world where private matters are often judged publicly. As the cameras begin to wind down for the day, the tension in the room does not dissipate. Instead, it lingers like an electric charge, leaving every cast member, crew member, and viewer hanging on the precipice of what's next. Yandy and Mendeecees, though, showing glimpses of composure, are still enveloped in a haze of disbelief, reflection, and cautious optimism, their faces carrying the weight of everything revealed and the uncertainty of what is yet to come. The producers sense the perfect opportunity for a cliffhanger, allowing the audience to feel the suspense and emotional intensity right alongside the cast, making the drama palpable even through screens. Questions hang in the air unanswered, provocative, and designed to spark conversation. Can the family fully recover from the storm of allegations? Will trust be fully restored, or are cracks now permanent? How will public perception shift in the coming days as social media buzz intensifies? Fans are already reacting online, dissecting every glance, every gesture, and every carefully chosen word, flooding platforms with theories, speculations, and heated debate. The crew and producers, aware of this digital storm, adjust camera angles and frame shots to capture lingering expressions, silent moments, and subtle shifts that will translate into the next episode's explosive storytelling. The dialogue and interactions on set become both a narrative and a strategy, a way to transition smoothly from raw emotion into anticipation, ensuring that viewers remain engaged and emotionally invested. Social media engagement is amplified with hashtags trending, clips circulating, and fans predicting future confrontations or revelations, creating a feedback loop that bridges the gap between what has already happened and what is yet to be unveiled. Mendeecees and Yandy exchange meaningful glances, a mix of resolve and caution, signaling to the audience that while some truths have been clarified, there are deeper layers still waiting to be revealed, layers that will continue to test relationships, public perception, and emotional resilience. The final moments on set are charged, each pause, breath, and eye contact magnified, leaving viewers with a sense of urgency and anticipation that cannot be ignored. As the segment concludes, the narrative seamlessly transitions to the next episode, promising more surprises, confrontations, and emotional revelations that will challenge both cast and audience. The cliffhanger is intentional, the engagement organic, and the emotional stakes higher than ever, setting the stage for a continuation that ensures fans will be counting the days, watching every post and speculating endlessly until the next shocking moment unfolds. The story doesn't end here. It evolves, leaving questions unanswered, drama unresolved, and the audience eager, anxious, and fully immersed in the ongoing saga.